All right. Hello, everyone. So I was actually recording a few games for YouTube members at the 3 Dawn level. I was ranking up my 3 Dawn account to 5 Dawn so I could use it on stream. And so I thought it could be fun to just record those. And I ended up, when I pressed the record button, I start going into DDK to SDK mode. And I kind of just played those games like that. And I thought, you know what? It ended up being okay. The games were way closer than they probably should have been, but it was actually kind of interesting to see. And I did learn a little bit about what I should try to be focusing on when we get to the Dawn level basics, when we finally get there. So hopefully that'll be fun to see. Someone did ask about potentially doing some Fox games for this series, and I wasn't entirely sure if I wanted to, but I think I will do at least a couple games so you can sort of see how it goes. And I'm just going to use this 8Q account I have. I don't want to make 20 DDK Fox accounts. I think I already had 2. So we're going to start off with this 8Q account and we'll see how it goes. Remember, for the DDK SDK series, we're still just going to do 3-4 points, focusing on our area before our opponent's area, reduction before invasion, strength before attacking. A lot of that stuff's like all the stuff that we're focusing on ourselves before we focus on our opponent. At Fox, it might be a little bit harder to do. So let's just see if it works the same way or not. All right, I got a game right away, maybe even against a bot. No, looks good. Looks good. All right, they are going to play me. So again, we're going to do 3-4 points. They're also doing 3-4 points. I'm going to be facing my opponent. I don't always do that, but oh, they're doing a 3-4 Chinese idea. That's kind of interesting, actually. Kind of interesting. I'm going to enclose first, focus on my own self first. They should probably enclose as well. All right, they're going to split instead. So we're going to enclose the upper left corner because now this is applying a little bit of pressure to this stone. And we don't need to respond right now. This could be actually a really nice way to respond is this move here. But they have this 3-4 point that we want to approach. And so we can approach high or low. I'm going to play high because we want them to attach underneath because that's the easy Joseki. They did not attach underneath. So we're going to have to figure out a new thing to do. This is something that I've been actually waiting for. If we attach in the corner, because they're supposed to attach. So what if we attach? Well, they can play a Hane and it becomes a complicated Joseki. So what I'm going to suggest is that we run away first. If we jump, they can attach. And if we Hane, we cut, we Atari, we have to connect. They can actually connect all their stones. So in order to jump away and keep them disconnected, you almost always need to play the diagonal. The diagonal is always a good way to disconnect our opponents. So this is a really nice move here. And this is a basic that you can use almost anywhere on the board. The diagonal, instead of jumping or doing a knight's move, it separates more cleanly than a lot of other moves. All right, so now they jumped away. So now we can attach in the corner because it's going to be harder for them to do anything. Oh, they're bumping, so we will just connect. This diagonal is, again, allowing us to Atari through here and capture these 2 stones. We're really seeing the nice use of the diagonal here. We just want to make sure we keep this captured. That is actually not Sente. So we can actually block in the corner because they did not Atari there. This makes sure we have multiple eyes. So I feel good about that. Then we can connect. Okay, they're blocking this way. They can still Atari here. So like one thing that's actually really nice to do is prevent your opponent from getting something. So they can Atari here and get extra strength. So if we turn, they can no longer Atari there. And now that they have this Hane, we can actually start applying a lot of pressure to our opponents. So the question is, are we okay? If we're okay, we can apply this pressure. So I think the corner is alive because we can always capture this stone at S16. We can always be jumping out towards the center if we need to. So this cut just feels really, really severe. They can't Atari and kill the stones on top. So yes, we can just cut. I think they were being a little bit overboard. Yep, and now we just get extra points here on the top. And if we want to be extra aggressive, this is where we could play the Hane. They Atari us down, but they're still separated into 2 groups. So this Hane is really good. If you can read that out, 100% play the Hane. If you can't read it out, it's still good to push again, but you do have to keep in mind that you're going to have to extend another time. So I'm going to play the Hane, but I just want to let you know that this is something you have to think about here. The focus here is on the liberties of our opponent's group. Our stones are strong enough that they're all connected no matter what they do. And so we're focused on the liberties here. So we're just going to keep extending. And now we're probably not going to Hane again because then we'll have too many cutting points. So we just extend, extend, extend. Yeah, there we go. Now they've jumped out to save this group. And something that I think is really important is making sure that they can't connect right away. Keeping your opponent weak is really, really important. Normally, we would be playing this move to not be surrounded, but we are connected all the way through. But in this case, we're just going to be jumping out here so that they don't connect easily. That's the entire goal behind this move. I'm just going to extend again, right? I'm not worried about anything else. We made all of the points we want to make on the top. We just wanted to make sure they couldn't connect easily. That's all. We don't need to keep playing anymore. This is good enough. We've accomplished our goal. And so now we're going to go back to the left side here. Remember I said we could play this extension to threaten the other group. So we're going to play this extension here. We're going all the way. And if they jump in, we just jump away here. And we let them jump in here. We just jump, jump, jump. They're wedging. So you always Atari from the outside, right? You Atari from the outside. The outside's the, if we target from the other side, there's a cutting point, a more direct cutting point. So the outside is hard to say which one's the outside. The one that's further away from the stones that are attacking you, I guess. So yep, just connect. I was thinking about capture, but connect is a more solid shape because we can then also just connect on this side too. And we're running out even faster toward the center. All right, now they're attaching to our stone. So we just want to Hane. Whenever someone attaches, you Hane. They're trying to kill us in some way. So we need to see where our weakness is. If we Atari at all, we're helping black. If we just extend, like if we don't extend back, they can Atari us. We go down, they connect. We start losing our shape here. So we're going to go back into the corner here. Yep, and then extend. And we can actually just keep extending because our corner is fine. And they need to live on this bottom side. And they need quite a few moves to live on this bottom side. So we're going to extend again. And we've extended enough to get a lot of liberties. And so now we could actually just kill the group. The group is just dead. But the thing that we're really doing is we're making sure we're connecting all of our stones. That's the most important part, is connecting all of our stones. That does not work. We just Atari. They have to connect, and then we capture this stone. Yep. Yeah, that one does not work. That's a very common mistake. You really should not fall for that. We'll maybe go over some of the common mistakes here. So now their group is surrounded, but our corner is also surrounded, and we don't have any escape route anymore. So we're just going to play in our corner one more time. So I'm going to do this diagonal in the corner, make sure the corner is for sure alive. I'm still focused on the corner, so I'm going to do this Atari. This would connect everything up. All right, so now we have this ko, which is really nice. And I'm just going to still focus on the corner here. We're going to do this Hane and connect, make sure the corner is really, really alive. Remember, we're just keeping all of our other groups connected. Yeah, Atari here. The ko doesn't matter. When your opponent plays a ko, though, this one in the middle is different because it was just a forcing move. When your opponent starts a ko, you always want to capture at least one time. Yep, then they play a ko threat. You get something from the ko threat. And then when they capture back, you then connect. And there's just nothing here. Here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to capture first. They have to play a ko threat somewhere. It's not really a ko threat, but it's okay. We'll capture. And then we just connect again, right? Because this isn't denied. These are all false eyes. And there's nothing they can do about it here. So now we just need to make sure this outside group is strong. Yes, we can go back and attack again. We can keep attacking. We're going to make sure the outside group is strong. Just extend again. Extend again. They're pushing from behind. We're always happy to keep extending. I'm even going to push from behind once here. And now everything over here is definitely really strong. If we check the cutting point, they push and cut, we just capture the stone right away. We're really, really strong this way. So now we can go back to trying to surround this left side group. There's sort of two groups. So instead of surrounding, I'm going to think of this as separating. So we're playing this move to make sure these two groups don't connect to each other. Interesting attachment. Normally, when they attach, we play the Hane. So I think I will still play the Hane. And then we can connect to make our group really strong and just extend here. We're still separating. And our group is extremely strong. We don't have anything to worry about, so we can Hane here. We could probably even double Hane if we really want to. That could be kind of fun. Let's double Hane. Because we have nothing to worry about. So them Ataring and doing a bunch of stuff doesn't really change anything. So our goal is just to surround everything here. We're just surrounding our opponent. That's all we're focused on. Even if they get to live, we're going to poke in here just for fun. Even if they get to live, it doesn't matter. We're just surrounding. Now, they do have a lot to worry about here. They have all these cutting points everywhere. This group is probably not even alive right now, but I'm going to let them live. I'm just going to jump here, sort of force them to connect all of their stuff, hopefully. I guess we'll capture the stones. Okay, now they should still be able to live. They can play another move here to be alive. Okay, good, good. I was starting to worry a little bit, but they did just make sure they were alive. But now again, now that we've just surrounded our opponent again, you see that we have all this strength and we don't really have any weakness because we can just surround the next group. And this cutting point doesn't do anything. If we really are worried, we can protect somewhere over here, but there's nothing that's there because our group's just alive independently. And so I'm just going to jump back here, strengthening the connection on this side. And they attach to us, so we're just going to Hane. The goal for any of these fights is we're just going to be pushing them towards the wall. If we want to make sure our shape is strong, we're going to just back off like this. Because if they get that Atari and connect, then they have like this broken shape here, so I don't want to let that happen. Okay, now we're just going to keep pushing them towards our wall down here. Yep, just straight towards the wall. That's what the wall is for pushing. And we may as well just peep at their shape here. Yep, just connect. This is a nice Atari that captures the stone. Probably don't even need to answer technically, but this will be fine. They do not have 2 eyes. So we just need to look at where our weakness is again. I think we actually don't have any. I think we are actually perfectly strong everywhere. So instead of looking at weakness, we can just look at reduction again. We're just going to reduce here. There is no weakness here. If you're able to read this out, this is really good. This is just a liberty issue. Yep, just connect. They only have 2 liberties. Nothing they can do here. Yep, just connect. This is not actually Sente, but I will Hane here. If they Atari, maybe they're going to live. So we're just going to Hane. We're going to Atari this. This is okay. Now we don't even need to play again because these stones are already captured. So we can just go back here and follow up with our threat. We're threatening to do some damage over here. We're going to pull back, make sure we're staying connected. I think we're probably connected enough, but I just want to make sure there's nothing wrong. We'll bamboo joint here. Maintain that nice connection. That is not a Sente move. Again, a lot of these reading errors that my opponent is making are very simple errors. Simple as in, if you can complete that easy collection that I told you about before, you can solve all of these problems. If we are really worried, we can play a move like this one, which makes sure that these stones are captured. If you're not really worried, you don't have to do anything. Same with this one. When we connect here, this is just a ladder. Like a lot of these things are really basic reading ideas. And with just this ladder, we don't have to worry about anything over here either. We don't even have to answer this one. But I will just connect, get rid of all the Aji here so they know that there's nothing here. We can even extend because it's still a ladder. I'll even just connect underneath, make sure there's no forcing moves. The reason why I'm doing this is to really point out that nothing is here. We actually do not even need to respond to this move either. Everything is perfectly connected. Something that's really nice to know is on the second line, you need 7 in a row to live. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row, which means they can't live even if I let them play a lot of moves. So like, let's go capture this stone. Let's see if they keep playing on the top. All right, we'll push here. All right, this is an Atari, so we capture. And now this, there's actually a lot of different ways to kill this, but one of my favorite little testages is called the mouse stealing oil. And that's when you play this move here. Because if they block, you can cut, and they can't Atari you. So you're stealing oil from underneath them, which is kind of funny. And this is just an Atari here. We capture. Okay, they went back and fixed that. And so yeah, we're just going to be playing basic end game stuff here. I'm okay if they really want to keep playing. It doesn't really bother me at all. I think there's not really anything else. Okay, they resigned. Okay, I think there was not really anything else. And I'm not going to play them again. This, though, was actually a really good example of a Fox player. They did some stuff that people really, really worry about. So let's go over that real quick. Actually, let's open up the game analysis window so we can really look at it a little bit more in depth. Because I do think people have a little bit of a problem with this style of play. But let's go to the area where I feel like they were playing a really Fox-like, which is this sort of invasion, which I think is something that's really difficult for people. So if they had a stone that was already on the third line, just to point this out, then instead of jumping, because they can connect up underneath right away, right? Because there's this sort of Joseki thing. It's hard to cut these stones off because these stones are not 100% alive yet. And black can still run away with some of that stuff. So you have to be really careful with that group. No matter which direction you play this Hane, you usually just leave that alone. So when they are threatening to connect up, we often push them towards the corner like this instead. And even if they just come out, even if we don't apply a lot of pressure, we just jump here and we'll just connect. And we just all keep jumping away and walking away. Black is not making any points with any of these moves. So this is actually really nice and successful here. We probably should even play a little bit faster than this, but just to show you. Yeah, black hasn't really made any points here. Maybe they can do something like this one, which is why maybe we want to play on the bottom first. But yeah, the stones aren't really doing too much. And then when they have, like in the game, a fourth line stone and they do this invasion, now we're able to just jump because we don't have to worry about disconnecting the same way. We're disconnecting with the jump because the fourth line to third line, they could have attached on top. So now they're already disconnected. We just jump out again, and then they do this sort of wedge thing. And as I said, this very aggressive Fox style can be very frustrating. But the thing you always need to worry about is your own group first, like I said. So we're talking on the outside. This group in the center, in the middle here, is the one that's trying to fight back. We're trying to surround this group. So the outside is the side that's opposite of that group. This is technically the outside of the other group. That's why I wasn't sure if that was clear enough in the game. But yeah, if we Atari from this side, they connect. We're just connecting to make sure our groups are strong. If they really want to cut, we can jump away. You don't always want to Atari a cutting stone. And our group, we're just focused on saving our group. Yes, we are attacking this left side, but that's not the purpose of what we're doing. The purpose of what we're doing is saving our group. So if they're doing stuff like this, we're just focused on saving this group, and we just saved it all the way. And they can go back and try to live if they want to. And this is where we can try to apply a little bit of pressure to try to not kill, but make them live very small. But saving our own group first. And you see what happens when we save our own group first. Let's say they just go back and live here really simply. They're probably alive. Now when we run this stone out, because we're strong everywhere, they have two weak groups. They have the 4 and 6 stones, and they have this other original group that they have. But now we only have to worry about this new group. I played at 19 so they didn't come down to the side. But if they jump again, we can just peep and jump, and now we're attacking again if we really want to. Now, for the DDK to SDK series, I don't always suggest this, but this is totally a possibility. I might instead just play the move on the bottom first, and if they go to capture this in some way, we just take the points, because the points are probably worth more than just running that out. The center is already reduced to some extent because they have to block on this side. All right, they have to block over here somewhere, and then we can still jump in over here. We can still jump in from this way. All right, so it's really not that big of a center. It's really kind of small. So remember, when they're doing this sort of thing, we're focused on our outside group first before we think about anything else. Now, they played a little bit weirder in the game where they did this bump, and we could probably just capture now, but I did this connection because I like this shape a little bit more here because I'm going to get the next nice move here because I want to run away as quickly as I can. This would have also been perfectly fine, but I feel like they're going to keep trying to do something here, and I didn't necessarily want that either, but both of the moves are going to be good here. And then when they do some sort of attachment like this, the goal is just playing the basic moves that we've already known. They attach, we Hane. You Hane on either side, whichever side you think is better, but they attach to us, you just Hane. If they extend, you protect. And then now that they're doing this, we've protected ourselves everywhere, and so now we can separate. Now the two groups are in trouble. As you see, as we're just defending, what's happening here on Fox is that they're dying randomly Because if they play this way, this group is just a dead group now. If they really focus on trying to save this one, then maybe this bottom group is now dead. Or if they didn't do this at all and they just saved this group from the beginning here, let's just do this. There we go. They saved it. Well, now we slide over here and maybe this left side group is dead. And maybe if they don't die, again, just to show what's going on, we don't necessarily want to play this way because our group's in trouble. But you see that this next group is also now getting in trouble. So just each time they're getting in more and more trouble, the more they try to save their groups. So you don't have to try to kill. You just separate, stay strong, make sure your own groups are strong, and then they have to live. And that's their priority, is they have to live. You don't have to kill, they have to live. I hope that was useful. I hope that was helpful in some way, and I hope you're having a good day. Have fun.